Good day, tryhards. Good day, YouTube, and good day to anybody who'll see this video. Making good on my promise. I'm going to start getting into this Bleach. We're going to start exploring characters from the Bleach universe. And today, just to jump right into the video, because I don't want to keep you guys too long, we're going to be talking about Ichimaru. Yes, Ichimaru. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And keep in mind, this isn't like nothing too crazy, but it's just going to be, for the most part, like 5 fun facts about the character, things that I find interesting that you might find interesting as well. Excuse me, that you might find interesting as well. So, without further ado, let's get right into it. The first fun fact that I found about Gin is that Gin actually thought Yukiura hated him. Now, I know that this might not be that big of a deal to some people who don't really watch Bleach, but it's kind of funny because a character like Yukiura, right? He seems like he's the kind of character who just keeps to himself. So the necessity that would come with hating someone, he would never have it. So I thought it was kind of funny that Gin in the first place thought he hated him. Like Gin was like, man, you've seen it in the if you guys saw it, like Gin in the show, he actually just thought he hated him, but Yukiura just dismissed it altogether. And I know most people who know about Bleach, everyone knows about Yukiura, right? But they know little about Gin. So just imagining Gin and Yukiura in an interaction will be, pretty amusing, because they barely had any in the show. So, the first time they actually talk, the first thing Gin assumes is that Yukiura hates him. So I thought that was pretty funny that Gin thought Yukiura hated him, but he actually did. He could really care less about the guy. The second fun fact that I want to point out is that Gin is one of the only people who could read Aizen. Now, this is a big deal, being that Aizen is one of the most notorious anime antagonists of all time, in my opinion. And I do think that this is a big deal because, keep in mind, this man has been plotting and scheming and planning for a very long time, and people just really couldn't quite understand what was going on or how to read the guy. But Gin of all people, man, this guy is a genius, man. Gin is a super genius because Gin was just, kind of able to read Aizen, at least Aizen's true feelings. He may have not known Aizen's grand plan, as Aizen told him, but he knew Aizen was a schemer. He knew Aizen wasn't all he was cracked up to be. Whereas other people like the Momos and the Toshiros and things like that, Toshiro of all people, who was like a young prodigy, especially in terms of intellect, Toshiro, he didn't even really truly read through Aizen the way that Gin did when Gin read through him as a child. So that's giving credit to Gin's genius level intellect and his ability to read people. The third fun fact I want to point out about Gin is that Gin barely fought in the Karakura Town fight scene. In that fight, Gin fought and did little things, but Gin really didn't do anything. And I think that's a fun fact because that's the equivalent to the Shinobi War that had Naruto in there, and maybe a character like, I want to give Gin the credit that he deserves. So I want to say maybe a character like Obito not fighting, right? Now I know does Gin impact the story that deeply? He doesn't, but I just want to give you an idea because Gin has been attached to Aizen being the main bad guy for so long that you would think that when the final battle is about to start and it's the bad guys versus the good guys, you would think that Gin would jump out there and play his bad guy role. But believe it or not, throughout most of the Karakura Town fight, Gin wasn't doing anything but just watching people. And another fun fact, this is another bonus fun fact, one of Gin's hobbies is actually to just watch people. So maybe that's what he was doing. Maybe he was just entertaining his hobby. Fun fact number 4 about Gin Ichimaru: his Bunkai specializes more so in speed and tactics, not destructive capability. Okay, and I'm saying that because people, there's a common misconception about his Bunkai that it's so destructive and it's so long, and those are 2 really good things to have. But the thing about his Bunkai isn't exactly, the thing about his Bunkai is not that it's, like I said, super strong or super long. It's actually the speed of this thing. The speed of this thing is Gin says this in the, I think he says this in the anime Ichigo. He says, do you hear that? He says, my Bunkai can expand and retract 500 times faster than that sound. And, I don't think I have to say much more than that. Listen, 500 times faster than that. That's pretty ridiculous. And also to throw in there, his Bunkai, his sword, stretches exactly 8.1 miles. So have fun fighting someone whose sword stretches 8.1 miles and can retract in, you know, and I don't even know how many times faster than probably the speed of sound, or even if it is, but it's just a ridiculous speed. Because remember, his sword goes out and comes back 500 times faster than that. And the fun fact number 5 about Gin is that he saved Rangiku twice. And I don't think this is overlooked as much as it's just not talked about. So that's why I wanted to touch on it. He saved her when they first met. You know, she was kind of on the ground and she was hurt. She needed some help. He gave her whatever type of food that he really likes to eat. And I was just looking at it. He likes to eat a certain type of food. He always carries it with him, and he gave it to her. And you know, he kind of helped her up. So he kind of essentially saved her and started living together. He kind of just helped her out, get back on her feet essentially. And then all the way towards the end of the kind of Quarter Town fighting arc, she approached him and Aizen. And at that time, Aizen was just one-shotting people. So Rangiku is farther compared to this Aizen. So she would have literally gotten killed. But instead of Gin letting her fight Aizen or, you know, meet her demise, he jumps in the way and kind of, you know, manipulates Aizen like, I got this one, let me kill her. And he kind of grabs her and takes her away. I think he kind of like puts her to sleep and puts her, I think he put some keto on her, that way Aizen doesn't feel her spiritual pressure, because he didn't actually kill her, he just saved her life. So I thought it was kind of cool that Gin actually saved Rangiku's life 2 times. So on that note, be cool, be calm, watch Bleach, get to the 10 show.